There is a chemistry practical in UNN those days. They call it Chem 171. I don't know if you are from UN. Are they still doing it now? Chem 171, my God. Even though if we enter the hall like that lab, smoke is coming everywhere. We don't know whether it's your own or my own. We are just hoping that we are correct. We are taking reading. But my point here is that the will of God can be tested. Are you not getting the point? The Bible said that there is a posture a man needs to retain so that he will have the capacity to test the will of God for his life. Your capacity to test the will of God is dependent on the measure of mind renewal, soul renewal, your capacity, the measure of Christ that has been formed in you. Your growth in God determines how much you can test the will of God. Are you not seeing it? So the man that is a babe and carnal can only test the will of God at his own level. When that man becomes more spiritual and more mature, his capacity to test the will of God will what? Increase. So a carnal and a believer that has refused to grow can test the will of God at this level, and God, and what you will hear is that this is your damsel. Say, the love of my life. When you grow, when you stop being carnal, you will find out that the will of God for your life will change. Not because it changed, but because you have tested and you have found out that where you are going, what you need. I don't want to discourage some people. What you need is not a fair face. What you need is capacity. Where are you going? If you are going far in your destiny, you have to look for a woman of capacity. Meanwhile, those days you were joking with your life. You were actually the problem. So God will not even give you that woman of capacity because you will mess up her life. But when you become serious, it will seem as if the voice of God changed. Those days you were carnal, you were small. Your heart is still not developed. Your perceptive capacity is still weak and feeble. It cannot pick deep things in the spirit. That means that God can only communicate to you at your plane and at your level. And the things you will hear is consistent with your spiritual experience. When a man begins to journey higher, then what he will hear will be higher, will be clear. God will speak to you because you can carry it. The Bible said in the book of John chapter 16 verse 12, Jesus said, I have many things to say to you, but you cannot bear them. How can Jesus be speaking and the demand on you is to bear? It means that the speakings of God are dependent on your bearing capacity, not hearing capacity. What did I say? Bearing capacity. That means a man needs to be developed. You can only hear God as much as you're developed. Your clarity in the voice of God is dependent on your spiritual development. The Bible said that the communications of God cannot be touched by a man that is carnal, because it is spiritually what? Discerned. That means the higher your measure of spirituality, the better your capacity to discern the voice of God. And that is why you need to climb higher. May you not call a person that is not supposed to be associated with you at all the love of your life, because of lack of capacity.